get your feelings hurt. Read this.
Hey, welcome back to Short Film Roundup. This is the place where we review short films, coming to you live from this big old empty nothingness where we eternally dwell reviewing movies.
And believe it or not, we have fixed our 180-degree problem.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What is that?
Got some user feedback, actually.
Yeah, pointing out how
we listen. We listen to the feedback.
Couldn't figure out basic
comment in these videos. We'll read the
things.
comments. Yeah.
So I'm looking at Kenny.
Yep. Who's looking at Taylor?
And I'm looking at D.
Who's looking at Taylor?
And I'm looking at D.
And I'm looking at Kenny.
And now I'm looking at the monitor.
And there's the monitor.
Oh.
And now I'm looking at you, the audience.
Oh.
Today, I think we're watching this one.
Okay, so youtube.com/watch?V =. Okay, got it.
Okay.
What is this movie?
This is called Physical, and it is by... I'm drawing a blank.
Cooper Neidecker.
Cooper Neidecker.
Neidecker.
You said it was correct last time.
Neidecker or Neidecker?
I think it's Neidecker.
Hey, Coop, let us know how to say your last
He
name.
already did. He already let us know.
I have a very short-term memory. Coop, I review... You know how many short films we review? You think I can remember how to say every filmmaker's last name? I can't.
Jeez, we just don't care.
You are Coop in. Now let's review this movie.
All right. Go watch... Wow, that was weird. The camera has moved.
You didn't know where to look.
Different spot.
Go watch the movie. It is about a minute long.
Yeah, super short.
Yeah.
Also,
it's in the description.
We want to hear what you thought of the movie as well in the comments. So leave a comment telling us what you thought of the film. If you agree with what we thought, or if you disagree with any of our points, let us know.
We're back.
All right.
Hey, we're back.
It's a quick minute.
So, I was thinking of doing some redecorating in here. The void was looking a little drab.
It is a little bit, yeah.
So, I found some black paint.
You're going to paint
Kenny,
black? There's no walls here.
What
are you going to paint?
It was the only color I could get here. They have black. I don't know. Maybe we could put it on
the floor,
the table, something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
We could paint ourselves black.
Just to make things a little more interesting.
Black face?
With that? No. We're just paint ourselves black.
More of a black soul.
Yeah, exactly. It has nothing to do with race.
What did we think of Physical, you guys?
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh, we watched that today.
We did.
3 times.
Yeah, we did, huh?
We did watch it 3 times.
All right, where do we begin? Who's beginning? D, direct us.
Yeah, D, you know what? You start.
I'm going to start.
Yeah. He's supposed to direct us.
I'm supposed to
You just told him what to do.
Hey, Taylor, tell me who's going to start.
D's going to start.
Okay, I'll start.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Physical. This is less a film and more of a visual description, if you will. Start off with a little diagnostic coming in on breathing and then lips and all that. And
I was thinking about Iron Man's
very
HUD.
full lips.
Yeah, and the the guy who's doing the narration seems a little turned on.
Well, I was just thinking that this movie's called Physical, and the first shot was like this torso, and I'm just like, hey, I know what kind of movie we're watching. And then I was let down.
Surprise.
It just wasn't. It was a bait and switch, is what it was. Teased me. If you're gonna tease me, you better please me. All right, go on, D.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that I very much enjoyed it very much.
Why is that?
Pretentious.
Well, there was...
Of course. It's
there
the
was
go-to, right?
There was so much to infer here. And not so much like we've described in our other series that we have not ever added another episode to, called Making Better Movies. You remember that episode?
Yeah, you mean the Sum of
plagiarized
4
one?
concept?
The plagiarized one. Yeah, the one where I stole information from another guy.
On accident.
Yeah, instead of what we would call a 1+3 movie, where you give just a little bit, but the audience gives a lot, it's like a almost 0-4 movie, where we're just showing some information that could occur in this world, and we're not really giving any kind of context.
Yeah, it's
whatsoever.
a thing happened. There's no story.
Yeah. This was really odd, though, this part. and this is kind of what made me feel just weird about the whole experience, was that this is where we infer some sort of storyline happening, that there's other things happening. We have something that says teeth, joy, and what we're, I guess, inferring at this point is that this robot or genetically engineered human, as you wrote on the description, is exhibiting an expression, an emotional expression that he's not supposed to.
They actually say that it's an unordered emotional response.
Unordered, meaning that what they're supposed to do is not.
There was not supposed to be an emotional response.
Correct.
There.
And then so they say at this moment with the text overlay, Turing test.
Yeah, order a Turing test.
Which a Turing test means to test whether or not a robot is able to exhibit human emotion.
Yeah.
And so if you're ordering a Turing test, that means you want to see if this robot is human or not.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to figure out what it is
why you would want that.
Why you'd want that.
Yeah.
Also, if the description is a genetically modified man,
Engineered.
right?
Engineered
genetically
man.
engineered man, then it's not
necessarily
a robot.
a robot.
So
Right.
that's another thing. Yeah, genetically engineered doesn't mean android.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not.
But
an
it could
android.
mean AI.
Maybe.
Because
What-
you could genetically engineer AI.
Okay.
But it says man. It's genetically engineered man.
How do you
know?
genetically engineer AI?
That's super advanced technology. But the idea would be that all the infrastructure and computing that we now do with tech could become biotech.
So in a biotech world, genetically engineering means reprogramming.
Like reprogramming all the way down to the DNA level.
In that sense, this makes more sense as a programming error, but like a genetically engineered error or something like
I
that.
guess.
It could be like
I don't know.
a dude who is grown in like a tube.
It's-
you know?
The
If
reason
what
why
they're
this
saying-
this whole everything we're saying right now is
Yeah.
just the illustration of why this movie isn't a movie,
Right.
for why it doesn't work. Is whenever we see a movie where it's like, okay, interesting, but my immediate response is, tell us everything we're missing.
Exactly.
Right? Hey,
Exactly.
filmmaker, tell us everything here. Tell us
Nope.
the whole story.
Nope.
Because it's not here. There's no story here for us to make any sense of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly that. We need to talk about what is the difference between leaving the audience with questions about your world, and then leaving the audience with and have other questions, but it's still fine to leave them with questions.
Right, because you can make a very mysterious, very
Ambiguous.
ambiguous
It's fine.
film, and that is good.
Right.
For me, the difference is like, I guess, outright confusion and intrigue. I think there's a fine line between confusion and intrigue, where like if I'm left just confused as to what the basic rules of the world are, then I don't think that's a good thing.
Right.
But if I'm left with not the answers, but the intrigue and the curiosity to want to go back through the film and analyze details and try and put something together, I think that's where it's a positive thing.
Right. So you're saying it's the difference between the basic storyline or the rules of the world and the details of the world.
I think so.
I think the answer lies in that you have to give somewhere. You don't have to give everything, but you do have to give somewhere. So we talked about the sum of four concept, right?
Yeah.
Where you give some exposition and the rest is expected of the audience, right? So it could be a 2-2 where it's equal parts exposition, equal parts expectation on the audience's part. Or it could be a 1-3 where you just give a very little bit and the rest is all on the audience to figure out. But when you go 0-4, you only, I firmly believe this, you only enjoy 0-4 movies if you go in with the context that you're going to go see a 0-4 movie. If you've sat down and your brain is expecting a story to be told and you get shown back and forth,
Right, exactly.
or the one with all the moth wings in it, whatever that was called.
So we're talking about short films by Prakash.
Stan Brakhage.
Stan Brakhage.
Yeah,
Michael
so-
Snow.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any expectation that you're going to see a 0-4 film, it's frustrating to you at a very deep psychological level. You're like, meaning, patterns. Where's the meaning? Where's the patterns? Because that's what your brain naturally does, right? And so that's what's happening here. My brain's going, there's a pattern, there's a meaning somewhere here, and it's not finding enough. You have to put 1, That one could be just the explanation as to why we're here, who this person is, what is the outcome they're looking for.
Well, so this is
just answer one of those questions, and the whole thing becomes much more interesting.
Well, this is what's weird to me about it, because they are giving part of the world, but it's certainly not enough to understand.
It's confusing.
What's happening. Yeah.
Like what they're telling us is confusing.
They're very little of the world, because the only thing we have to signify that there's a world being built is that there's advanced tech analyzing this person.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the movie to suggest this is a genetically engineered human being. That's in the description of the YouTube video.
Well, where they're giving like
this could be a physical of anyone.
Well, I imagine from the get-go that the phrase that they're using, diaphragmatic, whatever that is, and then a percentage, and then the fact that this is all like that heads-up display.
That implies high tech.
What I got
Doctor
from it,
of the future.
What I got from it is that this is an artificial human,
and the way they talk about him too.
But that being said, you're completely right. It's not enough to understand why any of this is happening.
Plus, I think the biggest thing for me is like the Turing test thing, saying that he wanted the Turing test done.
Yeah, why do you want a Turing test?
Yeah, super confusing. And then sending him to the shower directly.
Because it seems to me that depending on what you're looking for, that smile means it either passed or failed the Turing test right then.
Right.
Like already.
Yeah. Right. So, so this is so this is what screwed me up, right? As we're watching it all the way through, this part where he smiles, I'm just like, oh, he smiled.
It's a big smile.
And exhibiting joy, and they're marking him now as an outlier. I'm thinking, oh, okay, he has real human emotion, and they don't want him to have real human emotion. Quick, get rid of him, is what I'm thinking that they're saying. However, ordering a Turing test means the opposite of that. It means, no, okay, let's make sure that he has human emotion.
Yeah.
Or something.
He's exhibiting human emotion. Let's check if he has human emotion.
Exactly. And so then they say send him to the showers or whatever.
The only interpretation I could come up with, and this is a huge stretch, is that they're trying to make human-like basically slaves, servants to go out into the world and serve us, that are meant to be human-like but not completely human.
See,
so that we can keep them separated at a level where we don't empathically feel connected to them. We can use them as our servants. So, if they're too human, that's a problem. Go do Turing test. If he fails Turing test, then we're good. If he passes Turing, then we've got to tweak this thing.
That's a cool idea, is flipping the Turing test on its head and using it as like, we want to make sure that people are failing the Turing test.
Yeah, we don't want it to pass Turing test.
Which is the opposite of what it usually is.
Right, and that's why this got me off.
Yeah.
And also when they say send them to the shower to have them, what did they say?
Sanitize. Yeah. But it's like, order
what
Turing
happened
test
to it?
ASAP, but first, before ASAP, let's go clean him.
Yeah, why was he dirty? He looked pretty clean already.
I'm like, okay, if you're going to sanitize something, that means that you're going to ready them for production, ready them to go out and do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But if he's tagged as an outlier, that means, okay, well, let's hold him off or let's send him back or something. But you wouldn't sanitize him before you put him back.
Well, maybe they don't want to
infect others.
When they go back into the cold storage, they don't want to carry germs in there.
So the fact that we have to infer all the story now.
That's exactly the problem.
It's the problem.
It's also it's visually frustrating. I get into the psychology of a film. To have all these tight shots in succession, especially tight shots of parts of a face, and never revealing a whole face, or at least eyes, unless your intent is to make someone feel that dis-ease. This is a very frustrating feeling.
I liked that, actually, and the reason why I did is because I felt like it made it feel like this person was not human. Those shots made me feel like this person is an object or an otherworldly thing. And so now that we have these things, it makes it so that I'm not building an empathic connection, which could be good or could be bad, depending on what you're doing.
That's kind of what I got too. I kind of liked it for that. To say some good stuff about it, I really liked the shower scene. I liked the water
because of how it looked
falling down. Yeah, just aesthetically.
Was it slow? It was like slow.
Yeah, like that shot's awesome.
It looks like 60 frames.
Yeah.
With like a high shutter speed.
Backlit in a window and stuff, and I like the color.
This did remind me of a film, and I wanted to look it up real quick. I forgot what it was called.
Do we have Wi-Fi in here?
We do.
Jeez.
Really?
What's the password?
How come I never got that?
I've never been on.
Password, I think, is payment rules.
Payment rules.
Payment
Is
rules?
that with a Z or an S?
It's a Z.
Of
And
course.
then as it's XX payment rules 420 blaze it.
Oh my god.
XX.
He's so self-absorbed. It's ridiculous. how
Yeah, and
absorbed
it's so
he-
clearly from the 90s.
Yeah, it's oh my
He's
god.
such a 90s
it's
guy.
Ridiculous.
I like the color of the shower scene.
Yeah, it's like The Matrix.
Yes, this is the one. Okay. So this reminded me of David Cage's short film, Kara. That's a film in which we see a robot being, a bunch of androids getting, like, basically their torso is going through an assembly line, and they're, like, getting picked apart and stuff. But they're brought up and then brought back down and of power. So Kara is one that comes through, and it's a female-looking one. And then we see her, boot up, and then she exhibits human emotion. And then she gets afraid when they start picking her apart and start dismantling her. And she's like screaming and says, please stop, and stuff like that. What's interesting about that is that you get the sense of this assembly line and the conflict that she's now human. And there's two things working against each other just right there. The fact that why they're doing it and what happens to them before and afterwards, these aren't questions that are introduced because you don't care because of the conflict that's happening right there. And the conflict here was just confusing. It was the thing. It was that when he's an outlier, we don't have anything to compare it to. Had we said something like he's exhibiting joy and then do something to him, rather than just have the shower scene afterwards, I think then we could have had a conflict. But it just kind of ends with this visual, which doesn't really have any kind of conflict. It looks kind of like Discovery is more what it looks like.
Ooh, water.
That's interesting.
And then it just ends. So
It just ends. Okay.
Questions or you have
well,
anything more?
we gotta explore the elephant in the room here. There's an elephant. Big
Oh
old-
right, yeah, Film Riot.
Yeah. So Coop, this was a challenge film, right?
I've done Film Riot stuff before.
Yeah. There's a reason we're not talking about that.
Yeah, because it sucked.
So we understand that this was done as part of a challenge. I imagine there were certain criteria put upon you for this particular film. What were those criteria? What were you expected to do? That's my first question, because I imagine that's going to answer a whole bunch of questions about why this movie is what it is.
we should have something probably in the front of our videos saying that challenge films are not what we judge.
I think it's time to make an announcement. Can we? Will we lose 2/3 of our films if we do this?
Well, no, I don't see. This is my opinion is I don't have any issue with judging challenge films as long as we're just like, it's like, sure, I can learn the context and whatever, but I'm still going to judge it as a movie regardless.
I feel like we're not helping in that regard. Maybe we are. Maybe we are. Coop, you would know. Like if we have a film that comes in that says you have to use these 3 lines of dialogue, has to be 2 minutes long exactly, and has to have 2 characters in it. Like as soon as we then see that you had one too many characters, these lines of dialogue were weird,
yeah.
That doesn't help them.
No, and it's happened before where we're like, that line was totally random. Why is the guy carrying a rock? Like
Right.
he's carrying a rock through the whole movie, and then later we found out, oh yeah, it was a 48-hour film festival, and we were required to carry a rock and say this line, and we're like, okay, well that's why this movie was weird and sucked.
But even in that case though,
Yeah.
you can
You can still
take
make it
those
good.
challenges and make it good though. Like
Yeah.
if you're just shoehorning it in, then that's the problem.
That's really true. There's another thought that comes up that's that follows that criteria. I forgot what it was. It's Panasonic Parallel Lines is what it's called. It's a short film group of films that were made to basically advertise a TV that Panasonic made. I think it was Panasonic. But it's called Parallel Lines, and basically each film was made by a different, pretty big director, and each film was required to have certain things in there. What's really cool about those films is that they use each piece of dialogue that they were required to use very, very intentionally. Like there was one that was about a hunter, and the line was, "It's a unicorn." And there was a hunter with his other guy, and he's like looking through his scope, and he goes, "What is that?" "It's a unicorn," right? Like okay, that's great. And then when they go to a different short film, we have someone who opens up a box, and it's a gift, and they don't know what it is, and they open it, and they're like, "It's a unicorn," right?
Yeah.
Those things fit. You know?
Right, yeah.
You don't just say them.
You're not shoehorning it in just because it's a
well,
check mark.
for a lot of having been in and around a few of these before, a lot of people come to the competition already knowing what they want to make,
What they're gonna do.
and they have like 2/3 of it all prepped and ready to go.
Yeah.
So they show up to find out what are the 3 lines we have to fit in, and what are the
put 'em in.
objects we have to mix in. They spend 10 minutes figuring out how to do that, and then they go make the movie.
And that's bad.
And that's
It
terrible.
is bad.
Yeah.
The thing that we hate is just ending up in that position where we have to start saying things like, "Well, it is a pretty good movie for 24 hours."
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Because that's not the type of context you should be thinking about when you watch a movie.
Right.
And I reject all of that now. I just reject even giving a pretty good 4 blank statements.
Just none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've been pretty true to that.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to give you any passes because you made it in 48 hours or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
We're going to tell you if by itself if it's a good movie or if it sucked.
Basically. Do you have any questions for?
So yeah, let's finish. So tell us what the challenge was here and what was the criteria. That's number 1. Number 2 is fill us in on the rest of this world. What are we missing here? What are these people? This person?
Yeah, tell us what you were doing.
What is his purpose? What is he being trained for or tested for?
Do you have anything, Taylor? Is this a dude or a girl?
That looks like a girl. But eyelashes can be deceiving.
Huh, that's interesting.
Smile looks like a guy.
I see stubble here. That's good. It's probably a guy.
Chest looked like a guy.
Chest look like a guy.
Maybe it's a guy with yeah, that's a guy.
Round
Pink.
pecs.
I don't actually see gender. That's not something I really believe in.
Mustache.
Was this movie made before or after Reflecting?
Oh yeah.
Is this like one of your newer movies?
his
or-
last film?
And are you working on anything else? So I'm curious
Yeah.
about.
My question would be.
How do you say your last name?
No, he already told us.
Neidecker.
We're just not.
Neidecker.
We're just not reading it and caring. It's Neidecker.
Yeah,
By the way.
I read it.
That's what I said.
I care. Speak for yourself.
I was going to say that we looked at your YouTube profile and saw that there was a bunch of different kinds of videos on there.
You've made a lot of content.
Yeah. Do you make mostly short films just for any purpose, or do you try to follow with like competitions? What's your main purpose for making films in the first place? That's what I want to know.
Cool.
That's it, man.
Nice.
Thanks for the haircut, by the way.
Oh, do you like it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Those scissors, like, it's
They're
really
pretty
cool that you
good.
can get
D put up quite a fight, so I had to wait till he was sleeping.
yeah.
You didn't wake him?
No, I'm very good at it. Just
good.
wait till he was
No,
asleep.
I woke up and it was just
Then
like
there's
this.
no
Really?
kicking or crying. You
Yeah,
know.
and my beard's a little cleaner too, which is nice.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Scissors
I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
And a box cutter.
Box cutter.
to just refine it?
No, do a cut his throat.
Yeah. You look
There's
good.
probably a barber here.
You look good.
Have you looked around hard enough?
I haven't. Honestly, it's too hard to
You,
look
you
around.
guys
here.
have just given up?
Yeah,
I still like to go
I
feel
still
it
go to
out.
McDonald's. Every
This
now
is
and
my home. I'm just.
You're
that's-
comfortable now?
That's why I'm decorating.
then. with black paint.
What are you going to paint?
Whatever I can.
Your face.
table.
Blackface.
Not blackface, D. That's insensitive. Paint ourselves black. It's different.
That's an Instagram clip right there.
right?
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go. Let's go.
Do another one.
Do another one. Okay.
Should we watch another movie?
I mean, might as
All right.
well, right?
Thanks. Thanks, Neidecker. We're gonna go up to our next.
Later, Coop. Keep up the good work.
What we got next, Kenny?
It's upside down.
Flip it around. Dude, did you hear about the fire earlier in the void?
No.
Yeah, that's why the smoke's been
Smell
terrible.
the smoke.